Whoa!
Whoa.
Gear down, Big Rig.
Gear down because it's time for Mohawk Butt Talk.
Are we on right now?
Oh, we're on.
We're on right now with Auntie Muffin.
We're on with Starla, and it's time for Mohawk Butt Talk, brought to you by Choice Edibles. We got some cool stuff going on today, and we had some cool stuff going on all the time anyways.
We always got cool stuff going on.
Crazy conversation. We'll have to bring some of it up in the middle of the show, too, because we had some good discussion going on.
Yeah, we always have great talks with Auntie Starla Myers here.
Auntie Starla Muffin?
Auntie Starla Muffin.
I'm okay with just Auntie Muffin. That's what the kids are calling me these days.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, thank you.
She's
No,
the AM.
That's what the nephews are saying.
We'll be hitting up the AM tonight.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. This is going to be a good show.
This is going to be a great show.
We got some pictures that we're going to discuss. A little bit of then and now type of stuff. Was that what it was?
Yeah. Just kind of how the face of marijuana has evolved, and some of them are pretty hilarious, and then there's some of them, the more modern ones, just kind of, paint a much darker, much sinister picture of marijuana. And
yeah, I was looking at some of them and it was like, you remember, was that one on there with like the tuba and the butthole?
There was other ones that had, there was a naked woman who, was floating around in smoke, kind of walking aimlessly, I'm guessing. So there was a couple of them that were just a little bit too risque to show on Mohawk Bud Talk.
Oh, yeah.
And if they're too risque for this, then they're too risque, right?
Our audience is kind of 18 plus anyways, so
yeah.
Well, even them.
Even them, some of them are just like a little bit, they'll get a little bit cringy about it. That kind of deal. But whatever, it's not our deal. But while we talk about that tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna smoke on some special stuff called Dankalato.
Woo! Dankalato is very good. It's another top shelf brand, actually.
Top shelf with 25% THC up in that. It tastes good too.
It's very good. 50-50 strand though. So right down the middle, and like AB was saying, it's a 25% THC level. It's a cross between Gelato 33 and Sherbert,
both of which we've tried. I prefer straight gelato.
I do as well, but
Gelato 33 is good, but you can taste the sherbet in it.
Yeah,
like you can taste like the orange, like that pop, like the popsicle or whatever.
Yeah, the creamsicle.
Creamsicle.
Yeah, those. It's kind of like that.
It's similar to that. Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the sherbet in the Gelato 33, it'd be a lot. It wouldn't be as good because Gelato 33, like we said, isn't as great. So the sherbet gives it that extra, that extra kick.
It's almost like if you want gelato, you just smoke it on your own. But if you want to mix gelato with anything, use like a numbered.
Yeah, use a numbered one because it's gonna dull down. Anything else, right?
And this one's good for like migraines and indigestion. So if you have a great big old meal or
so it's perfect for after the holidays, right? And Thanksgiving, things like that.
Well, Easter.
Or Easter.
It's good for things like right? Dinner today.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally off season here.
Yeah.
It's because we don't follow it though. That's just
we don't follow it either. But whatever. For the people that do celebrate that, this is like after your meal for that. Perfect.
Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Happy all the days.
Happy all the days.
Happy all the days.
I love it.
And this one, flowers indoor for 9 weeks.
Bro, yeah, that was what I was so surprised is the website we checked out, check out Seed Finder, shout out, gave you basically a little insight to if you grew it indoors or grow it outdoors.
It gives you what you're going to get from each one.
Exactly. So they say if you grow it indoors for 9 weeks, you'll get a harvest of 500 G's meters squared, so probably like and that But
yeah, just like.
But then the outdoor is harvested in October, and you get 500.
You get the same
per
thing,
plant,
but it's per plant.
Yeah, so obviously it's not as much.
But you always expect to lose some. We were saying when you're growing it outdoors, when you're growing it indoors, you have more control.
You do, and as you get a tighter, it's a different bud anyway, right? Like that's why you get the higher THC ones that we are looking for indoors. Those are usually what we call hydro.
Yeah, hydrochronic.
Hydrochronic.
Did I tell you about that, Auntie Muffin?
No. I remember it being such a big thing when, I was younger and people were like, oh, I got some hydro. And I'm like,
do you know where the name chronic came from?
No.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, well, I thought you were talking about here.
No.
Like,
no. When they were calling it hydroponics, it was just in the midst of it was like the early 90s, whatever, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so he was just trying out the hydroponics for the first time. That's when it was like getting big and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was over at a grower's, and he was trying it out, and the guy's like, yeah, this is hydroponic weed and blah, 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 blah. And then Snoop was like, oh, okay, so it's hydrochronic. So he started calling it the chronic.
The chronic.
Because he was so high, he just misheard the guy and thought he was calling it hydrochronic. And he thought that was the actual term for it. So he just started calling it the chronic, started putting out songs calling it the chronic.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and then he realized after it was called hydroponic, and he was like, man, it's just that high.
Yeah.
So that was cool, though. I like that. I like it. I love etymology.
Yeah, so that's where chronic came from back in the early 90s.
Yeah, the origin of the word chronic actually did come from Snoop Dogg, legit. He coined that word and phrase.
Yeah, he did. That was pretty good. But hydroponic, that was way before.
Hydroponics.
The word chronic, that came from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hydrochronic. I like that better, though.
Me too. So when you're smoking the chronic, that means you're smoking indoor hydroponic weed.
Yeah. And actually, looking into that as well, when we were diving into that, we found that weed from, I believe it was 1970 to mid 80s was only about 8% THC.
Yeah, there was nothing in it.
And then
was that Reggie they talk about, man.
Yeah, and then from 85, we'll say, to about 99, I think, was only then got to a THC level of about 12, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then we got to about 18, and then now we're like 2030s or whatever, right?
I think the highest.
And that's so interesting, because when I'm looking at some of the posters that I had sent in, they kind of make it seem like, you're smoking LSD.
That's what they were trying to pass it off as.
Yeah.
Because even back then, if you put something in there and they disagreed with it, coffee was bad at one point too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Americans had to make it coffee the tea or the drink of choice, because they were just going against the Americans. So it's they use things like coffee or cannabis or just different things as political things, these plants for political gain.
Mm-hmm.
Bastards.
Right? It's like tobacco.
Yeah. And we all know how that turned out.
Oh, yeah. Wars over that.
But both industries are still multi-billion-dollar industries.
Of course they are. And, the funny thing is that they're worried about what a few, scones are doing. And I'm like, you know what? I think you guys have bigger fish to fry.
Right.
There's some, gang affiliations that you need to be worried about, because we're just trying to grow some tobacco over here.
For real. So Auntie Muffin, usually you like to get into the edibles.
Wrote 4 stories this weekend. Oh,
legit. So, and also you were talking about
that's just a light snack.
Yeah. Maybe wanted to go over some of the differences between ingesting and inhaling.
Yes, and how one actually goes into the bloodstream, whereas the other one has to go through the first pass system, and it kind of reduces the amount that you're in, right? Yeah. So, but we can get to all of that later. First, I want to talk about go on a box. And that is my baby. That is my sort of project and release of all the information that I've collected over, more than half my life. And just kind of be able to start making records and connecting, important milestones within our nation and, within the conspiracy on its own as well. So, and yeah, I managed to put out 4 articles this weekend.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. I told you, did I not tell you, like,
you did
months ago, that all you got to do is like chill, like have a smoke or have an edible, and it'll just flow.
Yeah, and that's the funniest thing is that I'm just like, oh, my mind is expanding.
Right, and it literally feels like little stretchies going. You got little fingers actually going out.
If I don't get in front of my computer right away, then I'll just sit on the couch giggling. Yeah. So it's like I gotta get into it very quickly.
Like for you now, like you said, it goes like this, but when you go like that too, at the same time, are you just like?
Yeah. Well, because all those topics, you have all those things that you already know, you've researched, you think you thought about it, and now all those things you can just take and just go, here it is.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
and just lay it all out, and it's just somehow easier,
And that, I have an open platform for people. It's absolutely transparent. If people want to contribute, either, written words or financially, because I'm completely grassroots. I have no government funding whatsoever. Just and that's important. People will say, like, oh, I just need a boost. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that at all. But for me, in my worldview, in my Inigahaga worldview, it's we do it on our own, or we find a way to do it.
Yeah. That's
The less,
like our entire lives, bro.
Right, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the less we take from people, as far as I'm concerned, the less say that they have over what we're doing.
Right. 1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly.
And then not just that, but if you do it that way as well, when it's done and it's accomplished, you feel more accomplished yourself because you did it from
you did that
the ground up.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So the open platform is, if anybody wants to submit a story that they, as long as it's consistent with the Guyana Lagoa, and we have a lot of things in there. It's basically just do no harm. If somebody has caused you great offense, it's not a gossip sort of rag. It's just kind of like, okay, there needs to be balance.
Yeah.
And there's so many issues that are so out of balance right now that I'm just having a heyday.
Yeah. Everything needs to be set straight, and there needs to be a platform to do that. So that's good.
1,000,000%. And being a pioneer and doing that is even better, and it gets the ball rolling, right? Like being seeing yourself what needs to be done and nothing being done. Being a strong Native woman like you are, taking that responsibility on yourself and smashing forward, it just is.
Right.
I don't want to say it's typical, but like that's awesome of you to do that, to get the ball rolling on your own.
You can't just take something.
And I think Andrew and I, we did work together for another media project, and some of the stuff that I've just found out through that and have carried on in my own media project is it's pretty uplifting. It really is, like learning a lot of the ropes and stuff like that. And I'm so happy that Andrew and I are still able to communicate and still able to talk about things that are important, because I certainly need to be able to ask him questions about, okay, so what does this mean? All the techie stuff. And then in
I
response,
still need to look over my stuff too. Keep me in line.
Keep me in the loop.
In line, I think.
Yeah.
try to help where I can, right? Like answering some of his messages and things like that, right? And that's where we really see the seedy side of media too, is because a lot of people do send some pretty questionable things in, and
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And then they avoid, like, when you try to talk to them and then they're like, no, I can't, or whatever. It's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's just like, what the heck? These what we like to call gangster and internet gangsters, you know what I mean?
And that's something that, especially within our communities, because we all sort of know each other, like you guys all kind of know everybody in Tyendinaga.
Yeah.
Nations here, it's kind of the same thing, right? And you know, one of the things that kind of I noticed, especially about me, was, especially when I started doing filming and stuff like that, was as soon as I stopped saying what people wanted me to say, they kind of dropped me. And
then you told me to, and I'm like, no.
yeah, right? Like
no, that's the real shit. We need the real shit. Like, what are you doing?
yeah. And that's what I had said to Andrew too. Like, I don't want to, you know, some of the stories I'm going to be publishing might be too, you know, sketchy, or they might come off as, you know, like people not necessarily liking it. And Andrew was like, well, so what? It is what it is, right?
That's journalism.
That's raw, right? Like that, and if that's the truth, like,
what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, like you can't always sweep the truth under the rug.
And I've made it very clear on numerous interviews with people all over the place that I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I'm sick of putting like that fancy bullshit for white people to, sorry, but you know what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not dealing it out all softly anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing though. It's
a waste of time to just sugarcoat it, you know?
Well, and so much intent is lost too.
Right.
We're like trying to talk about our matters in a way that, you know, like one of the things that I always see is, you know, oh, you can't share that from the Longhouse, or you can't share this from this church, or you can't do that, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, why does Smithsonian have all of our records then if it can't be shared?
Right.
And people can access it whenever they want. Why does Canada have a good portion of our records? Do you know what I mean? So not sharing and not keeping ourselves accountable to our own history is contributing to the lack of substance and pride in who we actually are. So struggles we've gone through, and we're still here. Right.
I was going to say something about that earlier. It's like there's this whole mindset of we need to take this and give it to these people so it can be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not. Like, yeah, okay, we'll take it to them, and if nothing's done, we deal with it.
Absolutely.
That's who we are. That's who we are. Is Kanyen'kehá:ka people. We deal with it. You know, if it's not getting dealt with, we take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is, because that's who we are. That's what we do under Kanyen'kehá:ka.
And that we have a responsibility. And
exactly. And to maintain those relationships.
Yeah, we have a responsibility to, one, hold ourselves accountable, and we have a responsibility to hold others accountable if they're using the Kanyen'kehá:ka as a way to weaponize.
Yeah.
And say, well, I believe in this, so you must too. Well, then you better darn well be living that way then.
Right.
So
exactly. Or else it'll come back and bite you on the ass.
Yeah. But as long not bite, maybe just kind of
gnaw a little bit, just chew. Have a soft chew.
A nibble.
Not bite hard, right?
Soft chews.
Soft chews. We actually had some butter chews.
Some nasty soft chews?
Not some nasty soft chews, but some butter chews earlier this week.
They were good, man.
Man, they were. I pounded them.
Yeah. That.
And they were like, what was the? What were the makers? Like, are they gummies? Because anytime anybody talks about that.
No, they were caramels.
They were caramels. But I call them butter chews because that's the English term, I guess they're called. Because really,
I've never heard that before, Nathan, ever.
Butter.
Butter chews. I think you just made that up.
No, you can go to the store and they're literally called butter chews.
You go to the British section. You want to have some butter chews?
Yeah, right.
Hello, I'd like some butter chews, please. I know, it just sounded too dainty for me. I wasn't ready for it. I'm sorry. Sorry I called you out.
It felt weird saying shoes.
But one of the things we were talking about, I was just hired to do a job for some family. They own a dispensary down here. Mm-hmm. And they were celebrating their 2-year anniversary. So
it was North End.
Yeah, it was North End Dispensary.
Just beating around the bush. It's fucking North End.
Oh yeah, okay. So North End Dispensary celebrated their 2-year anniversary, and they bestowed the honor upon me of creating them, creating for them some infused cupcakes.
Here's the honor.
Oh yeah. Exactly. So I made vanilla and chocolate cupcakes, but on the vanilla I made chocolate buttercream, and then on the chocolate cake I made vanilla buttercream. All of that was infused, had about 25, maybe 30 milligrams of THC in each one. And after it was done, they called me back and said it was a hit. So afterward, I was talking to him about it. Yeah, I was talking to him about it.
Every time you say hit, that's what I picture. It's like a guy with a drum.
So after I was so happy about that, so I came to him and I told him that, and he's like, "Yeah, that's an awesome, dude." And he was talking about this other guy was trying to do the same thing with ice cream, and I said, "Fuck that guy." I'm sorry. Can I use that word?
I swear all the time on here.
Okay, well, you know what? Fuck that guy.
You're always like, "Concern it," and I'm like, "Motherfucker." He's like Ned Flanders, and I'm over here fucking fuck.
So I was like, "Fuck that guy." I already have an ice cream recipe down pat, like legit.
Oh.
I figure if we're at 18 plus anyways, and they sometimes like make our videos that, whatever.
Right.
You know.
See, and that's so brilliant because I think just with how, the sugar and insulin is released when you have something very sweet and it actually speeds up your metabolism, I find that is like a bonus if you can have it all wrapped into one. Right?
Yeah.
So you've got the ice cream, you've got the cupcakes. I would totally be down with doing something like that. Right?
Would you be down with doing a pop-up?
Yeah.
Doing a little thing where we come down and we do some coffee and we have like a big old
for sure.
Yugowana Scots CME little gathering.
Yeah, for sure. That would be awesome.
Have some coffee and you can talk about your stuff and we'll talk about our stuff and we have a thing.
We can sit in the war room, which
the war room.
Yeah. Which is downstairs.
Yeah.
And it has a picture on my table of a Mohawk.
Oh.
Don't get me started. We'll all be sitting there.
I know you're a golf fan.
Yeah, I am. I am.
Have to come out when the course opens.
Yeah.
We're gonna go for a smoke on the course.
Yeah, that's gonna be so awesome.
Now, are you going to be going for a smoke on the course that Tyann Denega recently purchased, or
Haze?
Yep, that one.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay.
Haze.
Yeah, it's a good. We know that course. It's been there forever.
Yeah, I know that. Like, I've played that course so many times. Like, I know it like the back of my hand.
Oh my God! This one time I was in this wedding party for this guy, and we went golfing there. And there's this one hole, and the hill goes down like this, and it like goes down, and then there's like a little bit of water. And the hole's just on the other side. So the guy gets up there. This is like, maybe it was the fifth hole. Maybe it's fifth or sixth. What are those?
Yeah.
Something like that. But anyway,
sixth hole.
It takes us at least an hour and a half to get there. Okay. So this guy, in every single one, he's taking about 10 practice swings. Between every swing, he's like placing his feet and swing again. he'll swing again, and then he'll stop, he'll get back up to it, and then he goes to hit the ball, and then they'll like clip it. And he's like, oh, wait, that was a practice shot too, so go get his ball. And this went on, right? And this was the groom, so we can't be like, yo, you know, because it's like kind of his party. So one guy's just hammered at that point. I'm like stoned out of my head.
I would be too.
Well, yeah, especially if you have to sit there and just kind of like
chill. As we get to this hole, and the guy, he hits it, but it goes up, right? So he's like, oh, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I got that. And I'm like looking up, and he's like looking out, right? We're all looking up. The ball comes down like this, lands about 10 feet around in front of us. And instead of rolling down the hill, it literally goes.
As long as it's moving, I was told as long as it's moving forward.
It must have had like a spin or something on it, because it just like literally went. Backspin. Yeah.
Love it.
So he just got so mad, and he's like, that was a good shot. Woo, just
take a few more. I'm gonna take a few more.
Yeah. So we're just like, okay, best ball. All right, let's go.
Right. I would after that.
Oh my god.
After that, I'd have to call best ball.
Man, we were only doing 9 holes. Thank goodness.
You know what? That's the only way to go if you have a couple of people with you that may or may not be.
No, but he said he was good.
Yeah, that's what I don't like, is when people say that they're good and then you're like, okay, let's see it then. And then
yeah, like I know I'm not horrible, but I'll be like, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it's not going to go good.
Well, for me,
and I'll take it. I don't even care.
For me, I definitely want to get out a lot more this year, so I know.
Yeah, well, now that we're not all fucking.
Yeah, right. So I know once I get out a couple rounds, it'll shake the rust off. That's and right. That hole you're talking about, I know once I shake the rust off, I can
put it right on the green.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say put it on the green, but at least
drive the hole, just right here.
Drive it over that pond, at least. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
At least and then it's the water.
Yeah, and then it's a small chip up to the green.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I choke at any water.
You know what?
Sorry,
I have to say, he was like swinging at that ball one time so much. No, we were on the green, and he was like putting. So then his best man was over by the water, and he had the ball retriever, and he was literally just like laying on the ground, drinking beer, getting balls out of the water, throwing them up on the thing. Fucking one buddy was trying to get the ball in the hole. We got like so many balls. It was great. Got like a whole bucket of balls at least.
But yeah, Auntie Muffin, we all have to get out onto the golf course and go for a round.
I'm game. I'm game.
And even if it is locked down, we're still allowed because we're going to be filming.
Yeah, and
we're allowed to film.
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to golf because it's like
they are still open. The golf courses are still open.
Yeah, so exactly. So you'll have to make your way on down, and we'll have to go for a round.
Sure. For sure.
I mean, I'll have to shine off the clubs. Holy man, it's been a minute for me, but
he's gonna have to polish up his pole,
right? Once I shake off,
give you a little bit of that chocolate, and you'll be good to go.
Oh man, I'm telling you, once I shake off the rust, I'll have that cake just to flutter. And
did you see that episode? Oh my god, when he tried that chocolate, we're gonna have to like
Auntie Muffin.
We're gonna have to sell some of those. We're gonna have to sell some of those sound clips to Pornhub.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, we're gonna have to.
It was nuts.
When he tried that chocolate, like I could understand at first, and it kept on going, and he was really enjoying it.
Wow.
Just got lost in the moment.
Yeah, I did, and it was like every bite too. I couldn't help myself.
Like see the sweat,
right? Because I was like,
he's perspiring.
Yeah, I took a bite, and then I was trying to talk, and I was like, oh,
he's had a little bit of quiver happening there for a good 30 seconds.
Every bite too.
Stop quivering, just
right, and I was like, damn, that's good. Oh my god, that's so good. That's
I'm going back and I'm finding the clip and I'm putting it in right here. That's what I'm doing.
Right?
That's good. Make sure you put it in so everybody gets a chance to see.
That's what I'm doing. You will see what I'm talking about, and yeah, it's intense. So there.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna find these right here.
And yeah, let's show people what Auntie Muffin has in store for us today.
So I think it's important to just note, Andrew, while you're finding it, I think it's just important to note that the changing faces of some of these, like, look at this one right here. This is just, I don't know.
Girl until she's a reaper.
Like, what does that even mean?
What is a reefer?
I don't know. I don't know the etymology of the word reefer, unfortunately.
Me either. But we're gonna have we'll write that down for next time.
We'll write that down for next week.
But like how
the truth about marijuana, the smoke of hell.
Right? Like how it like singles out women too. It's like completely sexist.
This has to be like made in like the 1950s or
1940s. This one is from
40s, yeah.
Yeah, so the Devil's Harvest. And I'm just wondering at this point, if the THC levels weren't actually very high, then what were they worried about?
It was more like, maybe it was like because it was like having a cigarette, but maybe it just like made you that much, like a little bit happier. Or maybe it was the smell. Here's
my theory.
Okay.
So it's got to be like some sort of placebo effect, right? In that even if it was 8% THC or whatever, you're going to get the same sort of high or whatever.
Because they're telling you it's going to get you high.
They're telling you it's going to get you high.
Right.
But now because we're been smoking it and it's like popular now, and we're like, oh, we need more THC, more THC. It's that placebo effect where, because we were saying, not all weed is bad. Like you get amazing strands at like 20%, 18%.
We Girl Scout cookies at what, 23, 24?
Something like that. Yeah, not even. Not even that, it was like 22 to 24.
But it was still one of those ones that you just want to go get.
Yeah, it was very tasty. It does its thing.
But like that's like this, like you're saying, that could be it, the placebo effect.
Yeah, that's
like in the meantime, the pharmaceutical companies were just kind of, going willy-nilly with
it was in everything, wasn't it?
Valium and things like that, right? Like it's
just,
and I'm like, okay, so which one is the lesser of two evils? I guess it's not the Devil's Harvest.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, I think they're
because it stinks.
They're low key talking about, but not having the actual. I don't want to say it, but you know what I mean. Other kinds of issues they're pointing at, but not.
They're basically saying that smoking marijuana makes you a whore.
Yeah.
Let's just.
I didn't want to say that. I'm glad you said that.
Why? No, you need to say that stuff, man. Instead of like,
because I'm like, it's so difficult for me to try to be politically correct.
Well, the fact of the matter is,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
You just have to say it sometimes because like that's what's going on.
Yeah, but like
that's the idea in their head. Like you have to think about how they're thinking of it, right? What is this person, who is this propagandist trying to say, get across?
Exactly.
And at the time, being wholesome and a good girl, right? They say it right in their ad. That was the desirable woman.
Right? Because like now, if you were to see a woman sitting like that with her leg, it's nothing. The shorts are like that, whatever. But back then, to see a woman like with a shoulder out and her leg out, that was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Something like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very like Auntie Muffin was saying, risque.
And then you got Buddy here with his suit and his like whatever and his hairdo and his like his smoke and whatever,
Yeah.
Can we all just point out that that's an awfully long joint for her too?
Right? Oh, it's got the thing.
I'm like, you know what? That just seems.
Oh yeah,
and she's like, bitch, if you're gonna make it, I'm shit,
right? Put it in. What are those